Hello everyone, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. This is actually a new action figure review on my channel for the first time in a very long time. And let me just start off by saying that, I apologize for the lack of uploads, but honestly, I've been working on a lot of other projects, mostly my model making and painting stuff. It's pretty much what I do for a living now. And I honestly haven't bought a figure for myself outside of maybe some waifu shit for a good long time. It's been a minute, but there was one thing that could get me to buy a new figure, and that would be this. If you make a Pee Wee Herman figure, I'm going to buy it. And I've been looking for this one since it released, in April or something during Haulathon, and Lord knows I couldn't find one in my town anywhere. So I kind of just put on the back burner. I said, if I find one, I find one. And this last weekend I was working at an anime convention, and I was in Bakersfield here in California. And on my way to the freeway, I was passing by Target, and I went, I'll bet $1 million if I go into a Target that's not in my town, I will find a Pee Wee. And sure enough, I did. They had 4 of these. They had 4 of them sitting right on the shelf. And so, of course, I got one. So, now before we get into the figure review, you might notice a little something about this figure. About the packaging. And that's this right here. Which is unfortunate if you're a, inbox collector. Lord knows I'm not. But, this big tear here would probably deter most people from buying this. Now, like I said, there was 4 of these, and not a single one of them was without this ripped door. Why is the door ripped? Is it a shipping error or something? No, it's not a shipping error. So, it's kind of hard to see it right up front, but right here, see that? See where the light's hitting? See that little clear circle there? There's one here. And then there's also one down here with Pee Wee's face on it, which you'd figure you would be able to see pretty easily. However, from what I can tell, most people cannot see these. It seems that most people are trying to open this and ripping them open because of the stickers. So I can tell what happened was, look, that one popped off and it ripped open. And there's a figure, by the way, in all his glory. But unfortunately, there are 2 of these stickers, and and they're not hard to get off. They peel right off. They don't damage the boxes. So if you're lucky enough to find one, that is not damaged, make sure you take these off. They do come off, like I said, very easily. I'm probably going to stick this Pee Wee on, someone like my workbench or something. But yeah, so I understand, NECA boxes usually open up right here on the edge. I don't blame people for being confused. However, when you're trying to open something and it's not opening, maybe don't pull it so hard it rips the packaging. Because I'm telling you, all 4 of these figures on the shelf had the same damage. So I went through and I looked at them, and I found the one that I thought had the best facial features. So anyways, here's the figure. Now that I've warned you about those stickers, keep your eye open. So that is, I have a feeling if NECA ever re-releases this figure, we will not see this door anywhere else. I think they're going to fix it and put it, I think they're going to make a standard, box probably with, Pee Wee's face, or, maybe the cover of Big Adventure if they have the rights to that. So anyways, let's look at the packaging. So we have the crazy, Playhouse door, which I appreciate. I do. I appreciate the effort. I don't appreciate the fact that it confuses people so much that they literally are ripping them apart. But the door does open up, and you get a nice little view of the figure. And there he is right there. I'm going to try to angle it so my light here doesn't blind you all. So you got 1, 2, 3 head sculpts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alternate hands, including the 2 you get there. And then you have a Terry figure, which is kind of cool. Which makes me hopeful that we're going to be getting an accessory kit for this perhaps down the line. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more Pee Wee stuff. This thing has been selling very well. So I have a feeling that we will get some more Pee Wee. Which I'll expand on later because there's a couple things about this figure I want to address. Oh, and he also comes with his words of the day here, which are Ultimate and NECA. pretty cute. I like it. So, and then on the inside, you have this this picture of him by the door. On the side, you have this picture of Paul. God rest your soul, my friend. I miss you. And then you have this cool the tile. The back you have the window display with, you know, the different head sculpts. The Terry figure. He's holding up the word of the day, which says "fun," which is interesting. I wonder if they're flippable. I wonder if there's when we open this up, we'll see extra secret word, the words of the day. And then you'll also see this right here. Like I said, don't be shocked if we don't see some more Pee Wee stuff. That doesn't. It's the same color as Cherry, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, like I said, it shows off the facial the different facial expressions, and then this side has you know, just the Pee Wee figure itself. So let's open this up and take a closer look at the figure. And again, I do apologize for not being as active on here. As active. I love that. I can hear Pee Wee's voice in my head. Pee Wee's a very big part of my childhood. And my adulthood. I still watch Pee Wee. I watch it with my kids. We love the movie. It was. I can't stress enough how much I loved Pee Wee's Playhouse as a child. I love this. Made You Look. It's amazing. Amazing. But like I said, I just have not been collecting figures lately. I was kind of burned out on them. You know, financially, just was tired of blowing money on figures. You know, like I just, you know, kind of, I've been starting up you know, my own business, and you know, just working on that kind of stuff. Oh, there's some, actually a nice little, so that's what we're seeing in the back. So you have this little backdrop here. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool of them to include this. So if you wanted to make a little display area, you could very easily do this. If you wanted to dedicate a good portion of your shelf with this little backdrop, that's pretty cool. I appreciate that. So let's get that over to the side here. Let's get the box out of here. Let's look at the figure. So here he is, outside of the box. The light glare is probably much better now. So yeah, here's everything in all its view. And let's start getting them out of the box. That would be the easiest way. Let's get my nippers real quick. Give me a sec. Let's see. Are you sharp enough? Oh yeah. Plenty sharp. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So I really, I now do artwork, mostly tabletop minis and other models. I've done a few model uploads on here, so you're probably not super surprised by that. Let's get Terry out of here. But if you do want to see more stuff from me, I'm going to be honest, the best place is TikTok. If you look for DXD minis, you will find me, and I'm very active on there, and but I will try to be more active on here. I do. Come on, man, I was snipping them perfect earlier. I know some of you have always said you like that I open this stuff on camera, so I'm gonna do it, but I'm not gonna be happy about it. All right, there we go. Is that it? Okay, I think we got them all. Oh, get that side. But yeah, find me on TikTok, follow me on there, and I will try to do more, be more active here on YouTube. But I had to do a review of this figure because, like I said, you know, Pee Wee is a big, Lord, Pee Wee's always been a big part of my life, and there was no way I was not getting a new Pee Wee figure. And I figured, why not do a review? It's been a long time. And let's see, is there stuff? No, there's not. So as you can see, there's no extra words on the back of the word of the word of the day paper. So that's kind of interesting. I'm curious as if those are paper or if they are plastic. Oh, they are. They're paper. Oh wait, actually, I know you're more excited to see the paper, so let me postpone the rest of the review for it. But yeah, it's actually pretty. It's thick paper. Could be plastic. I don't know. That feels like paper. That's pretty cool. It's a very sturdy piece. So, anyways, let's clean up some of this shit. Get it out of the way. I'm gonna leave the hands in there. As you know, hands are not my favorite accessory. I don't really care. If you're a big displayer, poser, all that stuff, then cool. All right, so let's set the heads up here. This morbid display of Pee Wee heads. And let's look at Pee Wee himself. Here he is. All right, front and back. Let's see how those joints go. Ooh, pretty clicky. Ooh, very clicky. Let's see, it's the range of motion. That one's this is a little tougher. All right, how are his legs? Pretty good. Standard NECA feel, although they feel a little clickier than usual. It's got a good, the coat is actually sculpted over the body. That's interesting. You can see it has some give to it. It's not a solid piece. That's interesting. Kind of gives you a little more flexibility. It's kind of cool. Interesting. Got the classic Pee Wee shoes. So they got that sculpt down. Overall, the sculpt is pretty nice. For, you know, I mean, it's a guy in a suit. But it does have a little bit of it has, you know, the pattern in it, which is good. That kind of, I don't know fashion terms, but that kind of plaidish thing. It's a little kind of rough looking on the back, I guess. It's not like the most beautiful sculpting I've ever seen. But, you know, let's take a close-up of the face. This here appears to be kind of his neutral, you know, kind of half smile. I can hear him talking to Randy, kind of getting a little annoyed by this, or, you know, kind of maybe when he's just teasing somebody, is kind of his little smirk face. Kind of like it. It's very serious looking. And then we got the other faces here. Let's swap them out. Let's see. Let's see how. There we go. Pop off that. Let's do the yelling face. I think this is the one I'm gonna keep on him. I like this one probably the most out of the sculpts. You can just hear his yell. This one adds a lot of life to him. I like this. I like this one right here. That one feels very classic. The sculpt on the hair seems to be pretty good. There's kind of this funny little, if you look here, the paint job on the hair kind of to create, I don't know, a little bit of a hairline. I don't know if that's absolutely necessary. It looks, from a distance, it looks fine. I have no problem with it. Up close, he kind of gets a little weird. He does have very red cheeks. For Pee Wee, I have no problem with that at all. If this was like a T800 or something, yeah, I wouldn't want the cheeks to be so red. But for Pee Wee, this is perfect. I have no issues with this at all. And then let's do the other head. This is kind of his goofy kind of. He just, you know, he's teasing someone. He just told a joke. He's got his. It's kind of an interesting facial expression, because at first glance it's kind of hard to tell, but if you get close to him, I'm sorry, my setup's a little different now. So, he's actually kind of biting his tongue, which is why he kind of has this odd kind of tooth in his mouth. Now, I don't mind. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room, because I you know, like I said, I haven't been buying figures, but I have my ear to the ground still. I still love figures. The thing is, I can just paint figures better now than most companies, so I just tend to buy a model of something I like and I make my own. That's a big reason of why I also haven't been buying figures. But let's talk about the elephant in the room here. I know that there are a lot of people who do not love the sculpt of this figure for his face. I'm not deaf, blind, or dumb to it. I have heard these criticisms. I'm going to say that in person, the sculpts look a lot better. And I didn't love them either when I saw the promo shots. However, I don't think they're perfect. I will say, if you've watched Pee Wee a lot, this is especially these two here, these are very much on model for Pee Wee's Playhouse. These two sculpts right here. You can't tell me that's not Paul Rubens. You can't tell me that's not Pee Wee. However, I will say that there is a difference between Big Adventure Pee Wee and Pee Wee's Playhouse Pee Wee. The makeup is just a little different. The lighting is a little different. Paul looks a little different. It just is what it is. Now, if it was just these two head sculpts, I'd be a perfectly happy man. I think this one is okay. Of all three of them, this one is probably my least favorite, just because I get why they did it. It's a silly face. It's not out of character. I mean, it literally is. It's literally like this face. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say that Pee Wee never made this face. The thing is, the eyes aren't going in the right direction. Otherwise, it's there. I mean, he's literally making the same face in that photo. So while I will say I agree to an extent with some people that the face sculpts, the likeness isn't the best we've seen from NECA. I agree. I agree with you as far as certain things. Could it be a little bit better? Probably. Also, but I mean, you have to understand, Pee Wee is a very he's a very unique character. Paul Rubens has a very unique face. He has a very unique look to him, and I think a lot of people kind of just have a certain image of him in their brain, and if it doesn't match it exactly, it's just not going to be perfect. And like I said, I think most people remember Pee Wee from Big Adventure. I think that most people have seen the movie. Some people might have watched the show. To me, it's funny. I watched the show much more as a child. As an adult, I've watched Big Adventure more. But I'm telling you, in person, I think these two especially ring very true to both the character and the Paul Rubens, especially this one. Like I said, when I display this, I'm gonna use this face. So now, what I was touching on earlier, when I said, maybe we'll get an accessory pack, I would not be surprised at all if we get an accessory pack that comes with at least 2 to 3 more heads. Just because, like I said, Pee Wee is known for making a lot of different faces, like a lot. He's a contortionist with his face. But Paul Rubens was an artist with his face. He could make, so many number. I mean, do you understand? All NECA has to do is make a sculpt of him where he puts tape across his face and lifts up his nose and makes that wacky face like he did at the beginning of Big Adventure. He did it in the show too. He did it in Playhouse all the time. Do you understand, just with that one head sculpt, NECA is going to get another $30 to $60 from us because of that face sculpt, and everyone's going to want it. We saw them do this with the Ninja Turtle figures. We've seen them do it with the Universal horror stuff like Frankenstein and Dracula. We're getting these accessory packs, which I like. I really like the accessory packs. I don't blame NECA for doing them. In fact, I applaud them for doing them. It's very cool to actually have these kind of modular updates to figures, that we have, and it's like, oh, instead of releasing another Pee Wee, here's an accessory pack where basically it expands and gives you some extra heads, and you can keep, modifying the figure to the point to where it's, your kind of ideal one. Now, I think that's pretty cool. But I'm telling you, for those that are not happy with the likeness, one, I think you're being a little critical. I mean, if you know Paul Rubens, this to me is a very neutral Paul Rubens face. This could almost be him in almost anything, if you change the hair. This to me, this is absolutely Pee Wee's face right here. This is great. And this one right here, like I said, I think the eyes, if the eyes were angled at if the eyes were angled differently, I think this would be a much better face. I think this is the face that most people are having an issue with. Also, I think it's, Pee Wee's very, he's a pale guy. He's pale and he has big, bright pink cheeks. He's not going to look like your average person. So I think some of the artificialness of it, or the uncanny valleyness of it, comes from just the color palette. Now again, what are my issues? What are my personal issues with this figure as I'm looking at it? To me, like I said, I think that the pattern in the suit is a little lost in translation here. I think the execution is a little bit muddled. I think the paint is a little too thick. Or the rubber. I can't tell if this is painted or full rubber. I don't know, it's kind of to tell. I would assume this is painted. But this is, my issue with almost every mass-produced figure at this point is I want shading. I want different tones, in here. Like I said, give me a resin printed bust of Pee Wee, and I'll paint it, as well as I can, and be very happy with it. So, but if you're going to buy a mass-produced figure, then you can expect things not to be at the end of the day, it's a $35 figure. I paid $34.99 for this. It was like $37 or $38 after tax. I can't remember. I live in Taxifornia, so fuck knows what it was. But at the end of the day, this is probably the best Pee Wee figure you can get. I don't even know what your other options would be other than buying the vintage figures, which I had as a child, trust me. So yeah, I mean, if you're a Pee Wee fan and you're wanting something for your shelf, by all means get this figure. I have zero qualms with it. Other than, like I said, your standard issue stuff like, oh, I wish there was, a little bit of definition. Give it some good lighting. I'm sure he looks great. I'm sorry if I'm blown out. I'm not used to shooting with a ring light here, so hopefully it comes. Oh, see, I will applaud this. At least they painted the buttons on his shirt, so that's good. Like I said, I feel like the sculpt is a little mushy looking in the suit. I appreciate them putting the pattern on it. So, bravo NECA for that. I'm not going to fault them too much. So, again, if you're on the fence because, oh, I don't like all the face expressions, like I said, I agree with you to an extent. However, I definitely see an accessory kit coming for this. I mean, another hint of that is we're getting Terry. Now, you might say, well, why do we get Terry? Well, Terry comes from all the way back from the HBO special and the stage shows. Terry was one of the first puppets, I think, that Paul Rubens used in his Pee Wee act. So it makes sense to have Terry out of all of them. Would a Cherry be out of the question for? I think if they did a bigger set, we could have got Cherry, Conky, Jombie, any of these other characters, Magic Screen. But I'm telling you, there's no way they're not going to expand on this. I mean, it's literally a character from a playhouse that's full of wacky shit. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get a full playhouse set similar to, the Ninja Turtle sewer or something like that. Something maybe this big. You got Cherry here, you have the door, you have maybe like maybe the half round couch, maybe the full thing. That's my prediction. My prediction is probably within a year we'll get an accessory kit for this. Let's take a look at Terry. How is his? It's hard to tell how articulated he really is because he's kind of, okay. He moves. He feels very fragile when you move him. I would not move him too much. He looks like he has articulation on his wings. There we go. Okay. Yeah, they're just. It feels so fragile. It feels so fragile. There we go. My son loves Terry. I am not a baby. Randy called me a baby. That's a running joke in our house with my 4-year-old. I call him a baby. He goes, I am not a baby. So apparently we got some articulation. They go back and forth, in and out. Starting to loosen up now that I'm doing it. I don't know how loose you want it though. The head, it just feels so scary to move. It looks like he has articulation in his mouth, but it's very limited. It's super limited. I'm glad they did. Again, no fault to him. Paint wise, standard. Green paint, big bright. It very much. NECA's doing this stuff with their eyes lately, where there's just like these big bright white eyes with big old pupils. And I mean, Terry's supposed to look like that. He's a puppet. But it reminds me of the animated Ninja Turtle stuff, this kind of like high contrast paint. And that's the one thing that's kind of getting to me about NECA. I think they're getting very comfortable giving us animated looking stuff. It's one of the reasons I haven't really bought a whole lot from them lately. Some of the stuff I like it. Oh, Toonie Terrors. They're loving their Toonie Terrors. You know how much easier those are to make than the Ultimate figures? Very much so. So it's interesting. Hey, Terry does stand up. Okay, I'll give him that. I was worried he wouldn't. I think if you bend it down a little bit, it'll stand even easier. So, like I said, I think this figure is very cool. I really love this face sculpt. I think there's a lot you could do with him, especially if you pose him around and you really wanted him to look very like, animated. Like I said, you got this nice articulation in the torso with that kind of sculpted over jacket. So he's got a lot of potential for posability and display. And I mean, I'm not going to pass up on the opportunity for a brand new Pee Wee figure. And if anything, if you're a fan, even if you don't love these sculpts, even if there's only one of the three you like for me, this is the best one. I like the neutral one, although I'm probably not going to display him too much in the neutral face, because why would you? It's Pee Wee. This one, like I said, have those eyes looking up in the corner, and I think you'd have a lot more fun with this face. The Terry's a nice touch. The word, the secret words, they are what they are, whatever. It's a reason for him to give you extra hands that he can hold it. Just another display option. But like I said, there's so much potential for this figure to be expanded upon, not only with new head sculpts, but new characters. I would love to have a Conky or a Zombie or Cherry, or even give me a little Randy puppet. You know that accessory pack is going to have a Randy puppet. God, give me the door-to-door salesman. That'd be incredible. So at the end of the day, if you're a Pee Wee fan, try to track one of these down. Because one, I think it's a pretty cool figure. And where else are you going to get a Pee Wee figure outside of the vintage stuff? Although the talking vintage Pee Wees are great display pieces. I had one growing up. I still have it somewhere at my parents' house. But it does not talk anymore. However, like I said, I think they are looking to expand on this. There's too many signs of this not being a one-off. The one of the accessories being a whole new character. All the different hands, the different head sculpts. And NECA's not deaf either. They've heard complaints about some of the likeness. Like I said, in person, I think this likeness is a lot better than some people are giving it credit for. I think NECA is going to really try to get us to double dip on this with an accessory pack, if not 2 accessory packs, if not 2 accessory packs and a play set. That accessory pack. What do I envision in the accessory pack? Like I said, 3 new heads, I would assume a Randy, because Randy's always picking on Terry, so that'd be a perfect. And plus, he's about the same scale; he'd be about this big. I would assume maybe we get the Scooter from the end of the show. So let's see, what do I predict in the face sculpts for the expansion pack? I think we will get the tape face, because why wouldn't we? It's classic. I think we'll get like a more smiling Pee Wee, like one that's not as goofy as this one, and not as neutral as this one. I think we'll get a much more like a happy looking Pee Wee. And if we get the Scooter, then we'll get him with his helmet. So that's my prediction: smiling, tape face, helmet. We'll get a Randy. We will get a Scooter. What else would we get in there? You got to think. Maybe we get a magic screen. You need something for him to be doing stuff with. Like, what does Pee Wee do? You know what I want? Instead of extra hands, give me extra feet. When Paul Rubens passed away, I posted a clip of Pee Wee's Playhouse where he's dancing to a song and he was wearing these high heels. Give me some high heels for Pee Wee. Give me platform shoes, like the ones from Big Adventure when he's dancing in the bar. Like maybe we'll get a Miss Yvonne figure in there. Something. I doubt we'll get Phil Hartman's likeness for what was his name? Captain. I want to say Captain Ron, but I'm thinking of that movie. Damn it! Why can't I think of his name? Oh, we'll get a Zombie for sure, because Zombie's in a box about this big. He can open up. It's a face sculpt. Not a big deal. So I think we'll get Randy. We'll get Zombie. Maybe Magic Screen. We'll get maybe a Scooter. A couple new head sculpts. So that's my prediction. So what's the final word? I'm honestly very happy with it, especially for they keep raising the prices. I remember when NECA Ultimates were $25. Now they're $35, pushing $40 with tax. Do I think this is worth the money? As a Pee Wee fan, absolutely. I do. I think this is a very cool figure. I think there was a lot of care put into it. I don't love the like I said, the muddy textures on the clothes. I don't love them. I think I think it's a byproduct of this being rubber instead of hard sculpted. Let's see. How do the pants compare? I'm trying to see if there's any extra detail in the pants as opposed to the jacket. Not really seeing a big difference. In fact, I can see more of the detail in the jacket than I do on here. Oh, I guess we could check the arms. Honestly, some of the lines, the definition of the line, the definition of the lines is a little bit deeper in the plastic than it is in the rubber. So maybe it is a byproduct of the rubber being part of the sculpt. How does that connect to his neck? That's interesting. I'd love to know what's under here. Oh, I see. Can you guys see that? It's like a weird torso with a chest up here. Well, if I had more money to buy old multiple figures, maybe I'd open them up. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm very happy to have a brand new Pee Wee figure in the year 2025. Was that on my bingo card for the year? Was that one of my predictions? No. Am I happy? Absolutely. So if you're a Pee Wee fan, try to track one of these down. I did find this in stores, and like I said, there were a couple of them. So it's not impossible. Don't give in to the scalper, the FOMO. You are still very likely to find one. NECA is going to keep making these because it has been a very good seller, despite the complaints of some of the issues with people have with the likeness. So I don't think this is going to go out of production anytime soon. And like I said, I think we're going to see this figure get expanded upon in the future with accessory sets or play sets. So, anyways, thanks again, guys, for watching my review. It feels good to be doing this again. People keep telling me, you need to get on YouTube with your painting and your models. Well, the thing is, when I'm painting, I'm not really trying to set up a camera. I don't want to have to worry about being in focus. I don't want to have to worry about oh, is this, do I have the angle right? Can you tell what I'm doing? I honestly don't care, because that's not what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it because either someone's hired me to do a really good paint job, and that's what I'm focused on. If I have to get this thing this close to my face and out of camera frame to do it, then that's what I'm going to do. There's a very slim chance of me doing a whole lot of my day-to-day work on YouTube. Um, Again, I'm not really buying figures that much. So am I going to be doing figure reviews? I don't know. Like I said, I did it today because it's the first figure I've bought in like 2 years. Outside, like I said, when I work conventions, I usually treat myself to something from an anime I like. Like I got some really cool Chainsaw Man stuff. I've got what is it? I got some NECA stuff. I just picked up a Kamen Rider, like a little dinky Kamen Rider thing, but nothing worth reviewing. You know what I mean? Like, not for me. This was worth reviewing. I apologize if you wanted to see the extra hands. At the end of the day, they are hands. So, yeah, they're great. There's my review of the hands. So if you do want to see more of my content, if you do want to see, what I'm up to, please find me on TikTok. Look for DXD minis. And I am, like I said, I'm very active on there. In fact, I live stream on there probably 3 to 5 nights a week, when I'm on schedule, unless I'm out of town doing whatever. So I am around, and but I would love to see some more subs on this channel. And if I can get some more subs on this channel, then by all means, I will come back on. And I've been wanting to do movie reviews for years. I've been playing with concepts, and I don't know which one I like. There's two actually. I have two concepts that I really really like for the basis of a movie review show, and so if there's enough demand for it, I'll do it. However, like I said, if I'm usually painting either commissions or just stuff that I can get up for sale, or stuff to do at shows. So yeah, TikTok or DXD minis on TikTok. Find me on there. I will try to be on here a little more. Bottom line, end of the review. NECA Pee Wee figure, pretty great. To me, it's pretty great. I mean, just right. I like this little pose right here. That's probably how I'm gonna display him. I really do. I do like this face sculpt. I think it's great. Yeah. So, if you're a Pee Wee fan, vote with your wallet. Let's get those. Let's get those accessory kits, because I guarantee you, if this thing sells well, there is nowhere for them to go but up with these. And maybe we'll get some head sculpts that people are a little more happy with. So thank you again, guys. Pleasure to be back. Please like, please subscribe, please comment, whatever you got to do. And I will be back next time.